I'm Arnel Navarrete. I discuss the parts of SLR camera. First is the shutter button. The shutter button of the shutter release button releases the mechanical controls that operate the shutter curtains to take the picture. Second is the film advance lever. The film advance lever is the mechanical control that advances the film by one slide when you yank it to the right. The film advance lever and the shutter button are placed next to each other, one of almost all film cameras. Third is the off and switch button. Not all film cameras come with the discrete on and off. The film advance lever on some cameras work as the looking for mechanism that ensure that the camera's built-in light meters. It no longer active and therefore not drawing power from the batteries. Fourth is the shutter speed dial. The mechanical shutter speed dial is your shutter speed selector. It allows you to pre-select a shutter speed as per the requirement of the shot. Shutter speed denotes the length of the time for which the shutter curtain shall remain open the exposure to the happen. Fifth is the shutter curtain. Mechanical shutter are of two main types for the local plane shutter and left shutters. If your film camera comes with focal plane shutters, it's likely the rolling curtain type. There are the two curtains on the rolling curtain type shutter mechanism. The job of the shutter curtains is to open to allow the light to etch the film and then close immediately when the exposure is done, and so they're located inside the camera setting behind the lens. The serial number is the metal engraving that marks the manufacturing serial number of the camera. This is an identifier that's necessary for servicing and warranty purposes. 7 is ISO number indicator or film speed indicator. The ISO number is a mechanical control that tells the camera the speed of the film you're using. So depending on the film speed, you can dial in the correct ISO number and set it for that whole roll of film. It is obtained found set into the shutter speed dial. 8 is stop down lever. The stop down lever has an interesting job to do. When you press the shutter release button, the camera activate whatever aperture you dialed in and accordingly captures an image using that aperture and other exposure setting. 9 is show mount. The hot show mount is where you mount an external light like a flash. That hot show triggers a flash without the need for any cables. 10 is the tripod mount. Every film camera will have a way to mount it. It on tripod. It's on the bottom plate of the camera. It is the where you can screw and a quick release plate to mount that camera onto a tripod. 11. Film rewind lever and camera back release. The film rewind knob, which also double up as a safety lock for the camera back, is used to rewind the film after you exhausted it. You need to tag the rewind lever and spin it clockwise to rewind the film from the right spindle to the left one. To open the back cover when it's forced close using a mechanical lock to prevent accidentally open on the back of the camera and exposing the film to light. You have to work the release mechanism. That release mechanism is combined with this film rewind lever. 12 is frame counter. The frame counter is the just a readout of the number of the exposures that have been taken using the current film roll that you've loaded into the camera. When you load a fresh roll of film into your camera, you need to reset it. Number 13 is lens. The lens dominates the front of the camera. It's an external attachment, an optical device that allows light to pass through it and then hit the film at the back of the camera. 14 is lens release. The lens release buttons unlock the mechanical connection between the camera's lens mount and the lens so that you dismount it. 15 is reflect mirror. The reflect mirror is what gives SLR cameras their name. The R is SLR standard for reflect. The purpose of the reflect camera is the bounce the light coming through the lens of a 90-degree angle straight upwards to the viewfinder and your eye. Number 16 is the pentamirror and pentaprism. The pentamirror or pentaprism, depending on the camera make and model, is located under the hunch on the top plate directly in front of the viewfinder. The job of the pentamirror or pentaprism is to redirect the reflected light from the reflect mirror toward the viewfinder. Number 17 is back cover. The back cover protects the film and the shutter curtains and prevent light from exposing from field inside the camera. 18 is pressure plate. Directly underneath the back cover in den plate, it's known as a pressure plate. The purpose of the plate is the tinted the film as it arrives in the exposure area and ensure that it does not move about when it's exposed to light. Number 19, film take-up reel, also known as the take-up spool. This is the empty spool on a film camera that's take up the film after being exposed to light. Number 20, rewind release button. The job of the camera rewind button is to unlock the rewind mechanism so that you can then use the rewind lever to rewind the film. The rewind button may or may not be positioned at the back of the camera. On some cameras like the Canon 81, it's located on the bottom of the camera. 21 is film compartment. The film compartment is located inside the camera. You will have to open the back cover to access this compartment. It houses that unused roll of film inside it. 22 is film sprockets. The film sprockets are all small gear like guides that guide the film to the exposure area. 23, viewfinder. The optical viewfinder segregate an SLR camera from rangefinder and compact camera system. The optical viewfinder is powered by a pentamirror and pentaprism already discussed above and a reflect mirror. The view you see to the viewfinder is the actual view that the lens sends, and therefore is the same view that the film will capture. This is distinct from rangefinder where the viewfinder is not connected to the picture taken lens but uses its own lens.